Welcome back to Ms. Curtis's art class. Today we are going to make a red robin, or almost like a little cardinal, that's peeking its head out in this wintry scene with a really beautiful like snowy backdrop. I think you're really gonna like it. So we're gonna get started. The first thing I'd like you to do is make your frame and name. So take your Sharpie marker or writing utensil and make a frame, whether it's curvy or straight lined. And then write your name at the bottom right of your paper. You can also write your class code. So 22. Okay, so let's get started. The first thing we're going to do is we are going to draw the bird coming out of the right side of the corner. We're going to have the head towards the top area in this whole section here, okay? So I'm going to start by making a curving line. It's going to start from the top right corner. So if you watch me first, I'm simply going to start right here, and I'm just going to make a long curve right out to the side. The next step I'm going to do is I am going to make a beak shape, and it's going to be right here. So it's going to be basically a triangle shape, just like this. We can make a little curving line that smiles for the mouth. And then the rest of this is going to come together pretty easy. So right where that beak is, we're going to make the number 3. It's going to look like this. And it's going to curve around and just come down just like so. In this shape, we're going to make a circle. And then you can take your marker and you can color in this area black, but do not color in the circle because that is the bird's eye. So take a minute and do that. Okay, the next step we're going to do is we're going to make just a V shape for the top of the head's bird, and then or the bird's head, and then we're going to curve this down and around, and we're just going to curve it up just like so to the side of the frame. And then we are going to make a wing looking line. So we're just going to make a curve right here. And 1, 2, 3. So now we have our bird on the right side, and that came together, I think, a little bit easier than you probably thought it would. Now we're going to make a beautiful branchy looking tree right here. So at the bottom of the paper, I want you to go up, and this does not, you don't want this to be perfectly straight because trees, they're not perfectly straight. So you see I kind of curved it a little bit. And then I'm just going to, once I get towards the top of the paper, I'm going to make one branch that curves out. And I'm going to come back and make a little line like this. And then I'm going to go straight up towards the top of my paper. I'm going to come over here, and at the bottom again, I'm going to go up, but I'm going to stop right about here. And then I'm going to make a branch that comes out, and I'm going to make a little branch coming off of that. And again, I'm just letting it go out, and I'm going to curve it to the edge of the paper. And then same, I'm going to actually make a line that comes up. Maybe a little tiny branch right there. Keep going. You can make a little branch here if you want. And then again, curves to the edge of the paper. I'm going to come up, and I'm actually going to go just up a little bit. And then I'm going to make a diagonal branchy line, and it's going to go towards the bird. Same over here. I didn't put any branches on that one. And then I'm just going to have this go straight up. And if you want to make a little branch on the way, you can, and then go straight towards the top of the frame. So now we have our branch, we have our bird, and we are actually ready to paint this in. So we are going to use watercolor, and we are going to use a few different colors here. And then when this dries, we can go and use oil pastel, and we can actually put some, or we can use white paint next class and put some dots and such. Okay, so here we go. I am going to ask that you remember to make sure that your brush is nice and clean. I did just use it in another project. That's why my water's a little bit green, but that's okay. So I'm going to start by painting in my bird red. Remember that you need to add 4 drops of water to your brush, okay? I'm sorry, to your palette. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and I'm gonna swish, swish, swish my brush in here to activate that paint. We don't want it to be dry. And I'm just going to keep swirling my paintbrush in there, wipe the tip, and I'm going to very carefully begin to paint in my bird. And you should really have no issues since we used marker. Just be very careful as you're doing this. You want to stay inside the lines the best that you can. Remember that you're going to rinse your brush really well in between and then dab it on the paper towel before you go to a new color. If you don't do that, you're going to ruin the paints, okay? So I am going to just show you, remember you scrub the bottom of the container, use 2 hands so it doesn't fall, wipe the edge, and if I wanted to, just check right here, it looks pretty clean. I don't see any color, so I could go to some yellow, which I'd add 4 drops of water, but since I just painted, there's already some there. And I'm going to do the beak, let that dry. And again, I would go and paint the whole thing. So I am going to paint this in, show you what it looks like, and I can't wait to see yours. Okay, so now the last step would be to make the snow that this bird is surrounded by, which really makes the picture really beautiful. So I'm washing my brush. I did put a little bit of white paint here, and this is different than the watercolor, so you don't want to add any water into this paint. So you could either use a tempera or an acrylic. Right here I have an acrylic. So I'm going to just dip my brush into this, and I'm going to simply just make some snow that's laying on the branches. So I'll start with that first. It's kind of gathered in this area, and I might want to layer it a little bit. Now my watercolor paint is still a little bit wet underneath, which doesn't necessarily make it the best time to do this, but it's fine. It's almost dry. Okay, so I'm going to take a little bit more right here. And remember, since it's snow, it doesn't have to be a perfect straight line. I kind of make it a little bumpy right there. Same with over here, some nice white snow. And then I think that you will have a lot of fun making the snowflakes in the background. So again, a nice snowy day. So I'm gonna go ahead and start to make some dots of snowflakes. And you wanna make them sporadic so it looks a little bit more realistic. And I might even do a couple that have a little design to them. So just a couple lines like that. It's kind of pretty. I don't need to do a ton like that, but it's up to you. And I'm gonna go around and add some more snowflakes coming down. Okay, so I'm gonna speed this up, and I cannot wait to see how yours comes out. Okay, so that's how I made my little red cardinal, red robin winter painting, and I am excited to see yours, like I said, and I can't wait for next week's lesson.